Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylee. I am a quilter and illustrator and artist in North Carolina, and I am so glad that you're here. Thank you for your viewership, whether you are a new viewer or a returning one. I really appreciate your presence here on this channel, so just thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is the start to another vlog, and we are still in the throes of my busy December that I keep discussing, and I just want to say too that I'm having so much fun this month. Nothing is overwhelming or too much. It's been a really great month. It is just like full throttle, like very busy. Every week there are some main events that are going on, and I'm not a person that usually schedules myself in such a way, so it's been a little bit chaotic, but I'm hanging in there. I hope you are too with this holiday season and end of year. I know it's busy for everybody, but this vlog is going to be a little different because I'm actually traveling this week. I am traveling to my home state to see family before the holidays. And because I'm traveling this week, the footage will obviously look a little bit different because I will not be in my normal home space, but rest assured, I do have a plan for this. I thought it would be a great opportunity to dive into a quilt that I have been neglecting for the past couple of months now. It is one that I initially started on this channel. I was really in the groove of it. I really was enjoying it, and then life got busy. I'm really busy. I just haven't been working on it. To no one's fault but my own. I just haven't been prioritizing this quilt top, and I thought, what a better way to really prioritize this quilt top than to be hundreds of miles away from my home studio and to be able to work on it and just have this to work on and this only. No other projects to work on other than what's right in front of me. So that is the plan for this vlog. I want to see how I do traveling with sewing. I've never sewed and traveled before, so that should be interesting, and I want to pack a kit together and see what I think is important to me while I travel, and also just to see how far we get on this quilt top during this time, because there are some times when you're traveling when you have like nothing to do but to sit and be a passenger, and I thought that would be a great time to work on this quilt top. So the quilt that I'm talking about is one that you have seen, and I started this one in October, and like I said, you've seen it several times, and I have not worked on it since a couple vlogs ago where I added a little addition to it, and since then it has not been touched. It has been just something that I've been staring at again, which I struggled with in the beginning of this quilt, and I don't want to keep doing or falling into that rut where I just look at it and stare. That is what we're going to be working on. It is quite a big quilt for me to think about traveling with, but I'm determined to make this work. I feel really excited about it, and hopefully you guys are too. I think it would be interesting just to see how an artist will travel. At least I would be interested in seeing that with any of the artists that I follow, how they travel with their art. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this, and I will briefly discuss some of the ideas that I have in mind for this quilt top while I'm away. And yeah, I'm sure new stuff will come to the surface as we work on it, but let's just take a closer look and see what we are working with as a starting point. Here is what we're looking at now, and if you recall from a couple videos ago, I had just added this circle piece of indigo fabric that I had dyed myself, and I also stitched some blanket stitches on top, but I have not touched this since then, and that's kind of sad to me because I really like where this quilt top is going. I just haven't had the time or energy or the ability to prioritize working on it. I do have some things I want to add. I know that there's some things in here that belong on this quilt top and that I can do while I'm traveling, so that's kind of my game plan here. And just to throw some ideas out there, I have a piece of fabric that I would like to add here. I have some embroidery that I want to do in this area. I would love to echo a checkerboard kind of shape up here. It's something that echoes what's going on down here, but is same but different. So I do have a lot of plans and ideas to move forward with, and I think once I start getting in the swing of it, the rest of this quilt top will just come together. It's just kind of one of those things where I have to dive back into it to get back into the energy of the quilt before I can make any serious progress on it, and I think, like I said, traveling is a great way to do that. But anyway, yes, that is the plan for this vlog. I want to see how far we can get in this quilt with traveling and getting back in the swing of it and having some dedicated time towards this quilt top. So that was our starting point, and I'm really anxious to see where we end. But yeah, we have a couple days till we leave. We leave later this week, and I have a lot of setting up to do and packing to do before we get to that point. And I also want to get my quilt in a spot where it is able to be traveled with. So currently it is not. I need to add some things to it and prep some things before we can say that it is. So let's go ahead and get started with that whole process and see where we want to begin, I suppose, because at this moment, I don't know either. I've been catching up on watching YouTube, so I did not film this, but I just adhered this little indigo rectangle square shape onto my quilt top, just in reference to where it is. I do plan to embroider on top of this, but I just wanted to secure this to the quilt top so I didn't have to worry about securing it later on while I'm, you know, on my trip. I just did chunky whip stitches all across because, or all around, excuse me, because I just wanted to have like a hand sewn, lived in kind of look. Does not look like much at the moment, but it's gonna have some really special, important to me words embroidered onto it later on that have to do with the tarot actually. So that's kind of why I wanted to link them in a similar spot on the quilt, just so they're in each other's orbit, so to speak. But I'm gonna take a break, I'm gonna have some lunch and come back and we will go on to the next part. Hi, I'm back from a little bit of break and I just wanted to go and do some work here, and then I figured I would just show you what I'm doing because why not? So I'm just gonna set you up on the side of my desk here while I work on this next couple of steps. So I literally picked these leaves up in front of my house like, I don't know, like 2 months ago, and they're oak tree leaves. This area is really known for having a lot of oak trees, and I wanted to do something that was like literal on the quilt. So these are literal leaves from my yard, and I want to make paper templates of them. There's no way I'm gonna be able to pin them onto my quilt top to sew around them and trace them and make these really cool shapes. I just think they're such cool shapes. They kind of remind me of crosses a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to make some stencils of these 3 leaves really quick, and let's go ahead and do that. This is gonna be really technical. Quite literally just going to trace these out. And maybe if these leaves weren't dried and crispy and were more fragile, I would, you know, pin them to my quilt top, kind of like I did with my tarot cards a couple of vlogs ago, but no, these are very crisp and fragile, so I would rather save their integrity as much as possible than risk damaging them before I have a chance to get them on my quilt top. Like even underneath my hands, they're making sketchy crinkling noises, so I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, there's one. So next is this little guy. Okay. And then last is this large one here. I'm not gonna do anything crazy right now, but I just kind of want to place these leaves to see maybe where I want them. But I just wanted to kind of place them on here, see what I like, see what's like piquing my interest. I definitely want to play with like this house here because a house, the leaves are in the yard, you know, that kind of a thing. That's kind of what I'm going for, but I really like how these two look here, and I plan to like stitch under and over so we have, you know, different kinds of levels of play going on here with the stitching. And then also like one will probably be in this area up here. I'm not really sure. I just wanted to see what they would look like because I also know I want to incorporate, this is a little bit off frame, but this is where the doily is up here, and I want to do some of that checkerboard applique in this area. And then I drew these birds a couple of days ago, or like last week maybe, on my iPad. I printed them out just so I had paper copies, and I want to put one of these birds on there too. I want to make this into a starling, which is a bird that I'm like really interested in. I love starlings. I've always loved them. I feel very spiritually aligned with the starling, so I want to put that on there. And I kind of just want to see maybe which one I want to do and where I would like to put it. I'm automatically interested in this one here, and then also this one up here. I think this might be a little small, and I love the movement of this one, so I'm kind of leaning towards that one. And this is going to be like an applique situation, so I'll have like an applique and then I'll embroider on top of it. It's going to be a general shape for a minute here, but yeah, just kind of playing around with what I'm thinking, not making any, you know, permanent decisions right this second, but just kind of laying things out, getting an idea for what I want them to look like so I can keep them in mind as I move forward and make more permanent decisions, you know what I mean? So that's all this is. It's just a little bit of play. It reminds me of the measure twice, cut once mentality when it comes to like construction, but you know, that's just kind of where my mind is at the moment, so. And I want it to look like this bird is like amongst the leaves too. But yeah, I definitely like the shape of this bird, so I think this is the one I'll probably end up using on the quilt top. And this would probably be a when I get back project, not while I'm away project, you know? Okay, this is loosely what I am settling on. And I don't mean settling like settling, I mean settling like making a decision. So I got some leaves scattered around. I think these two are going to be in blue, and then this one's going to be in white up here. And then we'll do the bird later on, but just to show you where he's going to be, I think that's helpful to see. And then checkerboard over in this area, I'll work on that on the flight. I cut out little templates for it. They just look like this. It'll focus. It literally is just a little cardboard cut out here, and I'll use that as a template for my guide as I'm like making the checkerboard. And then tonight, what I would like to do is I would like to outline these leaves, just so I don't have to bring the paper stencils with me, and I can focus on the embroidery on the inside of the outline of the leaves. And that is kind of the gist of what I'm thinking will be more than enough for me to work on during my trip. I think this is plenty. I think this will keep me very busy, and I don't even think that I'll get to the bird at all. I think the bird will be a coming back project. So yeah, that is what I'm thinking at the moment. I'm gonna go ahead and just spend the rest of my afternoon getting some stuff done, packing my things, and then tonight I will be back with you, and hopefully I will be able to stitch these outlines on the couch with no issue. An update on my moss pole situation. We have a new leaf coming in. It'll probably be unfurled by the time I get back. I'll probably miss it, but yeah, it looks like it's coming in really nice. To go to Minnesota in a couple days. What'd you get? Candy cane and then that. Candy cane. So magical. Hey y'all, good morning. I am about to head to the airport, but before I did, I wanted to show you everything I was bringing with me. So here's just a little flat layout that I did of everything we are bringing. So all of this will go in here. This is empty. It just has a couple extra sewing needles and pins in it. But basically everything is here. We have our little templates that we'll use for our checkerboard, small scissors. You can bring small scissors through TSA as long as they're shorter than 4 inches. So I read, we'll find out what happens when we get to the airport. Some thimbles and finger grips, my favorite needles, just the pack that I'm using right now in case I need to replace them. A little wax candlestick, my Marma stick, marking tools, the air erasable marker, embroidery thread, and then this is all the pearl cotton that I'm currently loving for this blue and cream quilt top. And I just have little thread huggers on these. This is my first time using them, but I just didn't want like a bunch of threads all over the place, so I thought these would come in handy, and so far they are proving to be successful. I grabbed 2 embroidery hoops. These are the ones that I prefer to use right now. They're both like on the smaller to medium size, so I think that'll be good for a variety of things no matter what I need them for. And then this is my stash of fabric that I'm going to bring. It is a mix of indigo pieces, hand-dyed pieces, regular just commercial textiles. This bag is the bag for my Marma stick, and I really like the kind of like canvasy burlap texture of this, so I might use that. More fabric, this pink guy, and then I just have a bag of scraps here as well, so I have plenty to pick from, and I think this will be more than enough to keep me busy. And then last but not least, my quilt top. So I will just pack this all in my backpack. I do have my tech bag as well that has all my camera gear in it, so that'll be coming with us too. And I just looked at the forecast for Minnesota this morning, and the high this weekend is supposed to be -1, so it should be an interesting and chilly trip. Once we get to Minnesota this afternoon, the plan is to chill with some family, and then we're actually going to a hockey game tonight. And I'm gonna have a soft pretzel and ice cream for dinner, and that sounds amazing to me. But anyways, that is all I have to update you on for now, so I will talk to you when we get to Minneapolis.
Hold off on that.
Oh my gosh.
So we're gonna try and leave. Brad's gonna try and leave it like.
Good morning, all. Hi, it is me. Just checking in on the vlog. It is day 2 in Minnesota, and in typical Minnesota fashion, we are snowed in for the day. It's not actually snowing. It was a little bit this morning, but the roads are pretty sketchy, and Emily and I are not used to winter driving. I used to do it back in the day, but I'm not used to it anymore, and she grew up in the South, so bless her heart, but she is not used to it either. But anyway, we are hanging tight for the day and riding with my cousins back to our hometown area because our hometown area is several hours away from the city. The game last night was really fun. It was sort of a comeback game, so that was really exciting, and it was nice to be like in downtown, like in the city. After that, we just hit the hay and snoozed because we had been up for so long at that point. So yeah, I think we are just gonna hang out with Indy today. Probably watch a movie or two, do some reading, do some sewing. I think it should be a really good day, even though the change of plans, you know, the weather kind of threw that in a wrench, but all is well here. I think we'll probably go play out in the snow too, because why wouldn't we? I mean, look at this. So yeah, this is the current snow situation right now, and we're definitely not in Kansas anymore. Not used to this. It's really beautiful. It's like a little winter wonderland. I will keep you posted on how our day goes and give you little glimpses of it throughout. But I just wanted to check in and let you know what was happening. Let's go. Show us the ropes. Wanna say hi? Hi, buddy! Was that fun?
Andy. Come here, bud.
Hey everybody, I am back from my trip. It is so nice to see you again. There and back again. It was a really quick trip to Minnesota, but I left feeling so grateful and glad that Emily and I made this like sort of last minute plan to go there and see family. We had like such a great day. All the family got together and we just literally spent the whole day together. It was like we were all kids again, or at least that's how I kept feeling, was like, I remember when I did this in my earlier days, and yeah, it was really nice and was something I didn't know I was really missing until I experienced it again. So it was a really great trip, but I am so happy to be back in my studio space and here talking to you. And I apologize in advance. I will see what the audio is doing, but our neighbors are doing some lawn work right now. So if you hear an ominous buzzing in the background, that is a leaf blower, but I will cross my fingers that the mics do a good job of kind of canceling that out and focusing on me. But just want to make that clear. If you do hear that moving forward, that's what that noise is. But aside from having such a great time with my family and having such a great trip, I also got a good amount of sewing done, and I'm really pleased with the progress that I made on this quilt top while traveling. I think it went better than I could have expected. I didn't really know what to expect, I guess, so that was a happy surprise at the end of it, and I'm looking forward to showing you what I all got done. I have since named this clown back here Marseille, and he has been just watching over my quilt top while I've been chatting with you. This is where we are at now. So you can see some progress here, some things that were done. I'll go ahead and do a flat lay of the quilt top and kind of zoom in on some particular areas that I want to show you. I didn't get done everything I had mentioned, and I believe I also made a note in the beginning of this video that I didn't think I would get done with everything I sought out to do, but I just wanted to have enough for me to do to keep me busy, but not, you know, have a reason for pause or what have you. So I think I did a good job of managing my tasks and getting done what I could get done, while also feeling like I made some really great progress on this quilt. And I've immersed myself back into the energy of this quilt, which was my goal at the beginning of this video anyway. So I think we had a couple successes here, but nothing I can really say that was unsuccessful. I feel like I had a good time with everything that I brought with me, and I didn't feel like I was short of anything. I didn't feel like I overpacked my sewing kit. I just felt really good. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of these particular areas that I wanted to work on. Perhaps the most notable area is this pink checkerboard that I wanted to add, and I'm really pleased with how this turned out. This definitely took the most time. And this is also the section of the quilt that I worked on while in flight. I'll insert a little photo here that I took. I didn't take any video of me working on this in flight, but on our way back, I had some better lighting than I did on the way to Minnesota. So I was able to work on this in the plane, and I really had no issues with this applique. I wasn't sure if it would be super fiddly while in a tight space, like seated on a plane, but to my surprise, it actually ended up working super well. I also really love how all my oak leaves turned out. I worked on this in the beginning, and they did move around a little bit from when I left off with you last, but I'm really pleased with how these turned out. I just used random bits of blue thread to do the outline. I did a chain stitch. Again, with the veining too, I just did a simple back stitch, and that seemed to work out really well. I think one of the most personal additions onto this quilt are these little Roman numerals here. So these were actually based on the temperature of the day when I woke up every morning. And then lastly here, this is where I left off. If you remember this little indigo rectangle that I put on before leaving, I mentioned that I wanted to do some text on top of it, and I had just started that. I'm doing chain stitches for this too, and I really do like how this looks. So I'm gonna keep going and working my way down, adding more text, adding more phrases, but that is where I left off with the quilt top by the time I got back home. Okay, y'all, I think that is all I have for you for the end of this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Your viewership literally means the world to me. I know I say that a lot, but I'm so serious every time I say it. Thank you so much for watching. This vlog was a little bit different from my other ones, of course, because I do not travel very much, but regardless, I think this was a fun take on a traveling video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to pick up some tips maybe for your next time traveling, if you want to bring your sewing kit or your art kit with you. And above all else, I am just really thrilled that I got back into the energy of this quilt, and I feel the urge to pick it up again, like every time I have a free moment. So that is what I wanted. That's where we are, and hopefully I will be able to get this done in the next like month or two, this quilt top, and then I can actually quilt the whole thing. So fingers crossed for that. We will see in the next few videos what ends up happening here, but I do feel a good momentum on this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And yeah, we are gonna jump right into the next vlog tomorrow, and I'm so excited to see what we get up to in the next one. And I guess the next time you see me will be in the new year, so that's pretty exciting and something to look forward to. But until then, I hope you have a great holiday and new year, and I will see you very, very soon. Okay, bye.